would have been there. Sorry, Mathing. You would have been called crazy. You would have been called a conspiracy theorist. Everyone would have said, why would you want a reality show, some stupid reality show guy to, But he did have that reality show, David, I think, as you pointed to, which gave him a big platform. So it will be interesting, Emily.
It will certainly be interesting.
All right. Well, with that, War Room is up next, and that will be interesting, too. So stay tuned for War Room. Hug your children. Love God. Go boldly. Make it a great day.
Day again in Texas, and there is one race that has the attention of everyone, including President Trump, the primary runoff battle between longtime Republican Senator John Cornyn and Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. The race was already highly competitive, but President Trump's endorsement of Paxton last week has effectively launched him to front-runner status. This is all part of the larger effort by President Trump to purge his own party of incumbents he sees as not quite loyal enough, even though Senator Cornyn touts voting with the president 99% of the time.
What's at stake in what's going to be happening tonight in Texas and all the dynamics playing out, including Donald Trump's endorsement of not John Cornyn?
Yeah, so and it does, I don't know, looks like Ken Paxton's going to win, but and when you see Texas is Texas, it's very difficult. I think a lot of Democrats might think it's Austin, Houston, and Dallas.
Very difficult.
No, like Tyler.
The extent to which, if Ken Paxton wins, shows Trump's hold.
And on the Republican Party, but the fact that Tallarico continues to do well in statewide polling, of course, he's the Democratic nominee, and I think people need to appreciate Texans have been living with Ken Paxton and his shenanigans and his legal troubles for a long time, so it does feel like, in a surprising way, even that people who normally vote for Republicans, maybe they're independents, maybe they're Republicans, are open to voting for Tallarico and like giving him a real shot. And it sort of feels not like the tip. We've all been here before with Texas going blue, but a tipping point sort of across the country with Republicans getting tired of what's going on with Trump.
I still think
It's Tuesday, 26 May in the year of our Lord 2026. We're going to start today in the great state of Texas. We've got Attorney General Ken Paxton joins us by phone out on the hustings right now. General Paxton, just walk us through the Get Out the Vote effort today. What are you guys doing? Where can people go if they want to assist? As you know, you have quite a large following in Texas and nationwide and really throughout the world here in the War Room, sir.
Well, the most important thing I'm doing is I'm on War Room right now trying to get the vote out. So I'm trying to get this is the most important show today. But I'm doing radio, a lot of radio in the morning. Obviously, it doesn't do any good to block walk at this point. It's you want to get to as many people as you can. So, yeah, we texted yesterday to voters that we knew hadn't voted yet that we thought were high propensity Republican voters. So we've done everything we can. We didn't have quite the financial resources because Washington didn't send money to me. They only sent it to John Cornyn.
Talk to us about that for a second, because Cornyn, in desperation, of course, the polls came out that you guys had talked to President Trump about that had you up some 8, some 9, some actually 11 points up prior to any endorsement. Of course, you went turbocharged after that. But it seems as we've monitored this thing over the last week or so, your opponent, Cornyn, is reaching out to Democrats. What is he doing? If you didn't vote in the primary, can you actually vote in this runoff? Because it seems like his strategy is to get people that are not Republicans and certainly not MAGA to come and try to stop you. And, of course, the Texas Democrats are smart. They know the candidate that can beat Tallarico is Ken Paxton. So what is going on with the opposition?
Yeah, so actually our polling had us up somewhere between 8 and 15 before the president endorsed, and it obviously has gotten much better since then. And there's no doubt that John Cornyn is reaching out to those who did not vote in the Republican primary or the Democratic primary, and he's trying to reach out to Democrats, encouraging them to come vote for him. One of the reasons that he likes having open primaries, which I am opposed to. I think we should have closed primary where only Republicans who have registered as Republicans can vote in the Republican primary so that Democrats cannot influence Republican primaries. John is reaching out to Democrats to try to get them to come vote for him because he knows that they are more sympathetic to him.
This is a trick that the establishment down in Texas has done for a long time, right? That's why they fight the MAGA base and the grassroots base that want closed primaries. They've used this. This is a parlor trick they've used before.
Oh, absolutely. They used it. That's how they got Dave Phelan reelected in his House seat. Of course, then he didn't make it as Speaker, but that's how they did it. They got like thousands of Democrats to come over, and he ended up winning by 300 votes. Where the Republican Party of Texas is trying to close those primaries. The state is defending it. I'm not defending it. I would not defend it. I'm actually on the other side, intervening to stop Democrats from voting in our primaries because I think it's wrong.
Can you actually, if you didn't vote in the primary, are you actually available? Can you actually vote in the runoff?
Yeah, you just can't vote. If you voted in the Democratic primary, you cannot come vote in the Republican primary. If you voted in the Republican primary, of course, they don't have, the runoff. The Democrats didn't have a runoff, obviously, for this seat. But so no Democrat that voted in the original primary as a Democrat for James Tallarico or Jasmine Crockett cannot come over and vote in ours now in the runoff. However, if you have not voted before, you can come over and vote. And that's true for Republicans as well, or independents. They can come over and vote for me now, or if they didn't vote in the first round. But what John Cornyn is trying to do, he's trying to target either very liberal, moderate establishment Republicans that did not vote, and also Democrats. So that's his strategy. He wants Democrats to come help save him.
Give me a second. I know you're busy, and we're going to let you go here in a minute. You made one of the boldest political moves I think most people have ever seen in their lives in saying to Cornyn, hey, I will step down if you will put your shoulder to the wheel and pass the Save America Act, which President Trump has said is paramount. Why do you think he really didn't lift a finger to do that when he had the option not to be in a jam where somebody, and President Trump's, if we can get that, if Denver can get that, his Truth Socials, the two that came out for you, are two of the strongest Truth Socials I've ever seen about a candidate. Positively, the first one, and then negatively, the second one on Cornyn. I mean, he buried Cornyn the other day. But the first one on you just went back, as we do all the time, because you were our first guest on the afternoon of the 20th of January after the illegitimate Biden regime stepped in. President Trump went back to that history. But why did Cornyn, understanding your following by the MAGA base, understanding how you were revered in Texas, why did he not lift a finger? What is it about the Senate and the Senate establishment that would put $150 million to destroy you personally, but he wouldn't lift a finger when that was really his only path to political salvation, sir?
Two words: brain synapses. And what I mean by that is I've been asking people in Texas for 14 months, John's been in office since I was in college, and I'm 63. So he's been in office for 42 years, 24 years in the Senate. And I've asked every single person I've been in front of, whether it's one or thousands, can you name one good accomplishment in those 42 years? And no one has ever named it. No one, not one. And so for him to actually do something good, he doesn't know how. He doesn't know. That's all I can come up with. I gave him the opportunity to run with this, that I would get out of the race if he would actually just do one good thing in 42 years, because it was so important to me to get the Save America Act passed. And I knew it was important to the president. I was willing to step out. And yet here he is. He can't even do it. He not only did not do it, he doesn't even try. He says he's for it, but did you ever hear him talk about it? He never brought it up again.
No.
He went on vacation for 2 weeks right after I said that, and then came back for a week and went back on vacation. And then he never brought it up again. So he never tried to really pass it. He tried to say he was for it to cover himself for this primary, but in reality, John didn't want to pass this, and he didn't try.
That's because the Senate leadership, you can tell, doesn't want to do it. General Paxton, what are the marching orders today? Where should people go? How can they get involved? How do they start dragging people to the polls? Because today is it's game day today. Where do they go?
Well, they have
what do they do, sir?
It's simple. Take yourself, take somebody with you, a family member, call a couple of friends that haven't voted, and get them to the polls. You can vote all over the place in Texas. You have till 7 p.m. It's going to be low voter turnout. We have maybe 10% registered voters that actually voted in the last round. It'll probably be more like 5 or 6% of the registered voters. So your vote has a tremendous leveraging effect. And if you bring people with you, I'm going to win this race. If the grassroots will get out and vote, we're going to win this race, and we're going to overcome the $140, $150 million that John Cornyn spent from D.C.
General Paxton, social media, where they go if they want to go to one site to find out all this information, and your social media that I know you're going to be updating during the day. Where do the Warren Posse go?
KenPaxton.com and at KenPaxtonTX for Twitter, Facebook, and other social media.
Godspeed, sir. Thank you for kicking it off today here.
It's going to be a great day. Get out and vote.
Scott, do I have Scott? Okay, we're going to get Scott Pressler's out in the field also down in Texas. The persistence which has done such a fantastic job on voter registration. He's been down in Texas putting his shoulder to the wheel. We have the one and only Raheem Kassam. We have, man, oh man, and it must be a special day in the war room. Raheem Kassam joins us. We got a lot to talk about, Raheem, but first off, I want to talk about Texas. Did you arrive yet? My understanding is that from your entourage that you were actually heading to Texas, sir?
I am here, Steve, in Dallas, Texas, ready and raring to go for the day's events. It's very exciting. It's a day that's, we've been waiting for a long time. The establishment, the consultant class in Washington, D.C., told us that we would never get to this position, that President Trump was going to endorse John Cornyn, that Texans would just have to suck it up. We were told all over social media that this day would never come. And today, I mean, I have a lot of friends who are from Texas, who live in Texas, and I wanted to be here with them. They all seem genuinely excited to go out, cast their votes, and make this happen. It's one of the, we don't get these moments very often, these David versus Goliath moments where, they spend $100+ million against somebody with a track record, a Maga track record, and they come out with nothing to show for it. The long-term implications of this are even better. Ken Paxton, and by the way, I want to say, his team, right? The great people on that campaign, the great people who have stood by him and worked with him for years and years, pushing the envelope on all kinds of issues, radical Islam, the lawsuits, everything. They will now be in a position, if you guys go out there and do it, they will now be in a position to help affect real change. 6,000-7,000 times more than somebody like John Cornyn or John Thune or any of these guys would be interested in. It's a very exciting day.
This is, I got so much to get into with you, and after the break we'll do that, but I want to go back to this point. This is almost like a movie. You very rarely in politics, given how important Texas is, I say this as a Virginian, although Sam Houston was a Virginian, that Texas is the jewel in the crown of the Union. As Texas goes, so goes the nation. And here in this Senate primary, you have the actual ether, the epitome of the rotten political class in Washington, D.C. That's John Cornyn. And you have on the other side a populist, nationalist street fighter in Ken Paxton, who has just been with President Trump and really fighting in the hardest fights, taking on the fights that matter. That's what's so brilliant about this. What do you expect, DC? And of course, Raheem, I'd like your observations in that Cornyn's $150 million wasn't on any policy. I mean, he had one ad, he was walking past the wall, which we noticed he fought. He had another one as soon as we came out with the Sharia, Prop 10 on prohibiting Sharia law. He came out the next day. He's Mr. Anti-Sharia law, which everybody knows is a joke. But the vast bulk of the money, 99%, went to destroy Ken Paxton personally. Your observation, sir.
Well, my first observation is that out of the two of those candidates, I only fancy that one might own a copy of No-Go Zones, How Sharia is Coming to a Neighborhood Near You, and that person is not John Cornyn, right? Like this issue has come across his desk very recently. He probably took a little look at a paper, sneered at it a bit, and said, "Okay, I suppose we better go and do a photo opportunity to prove to these guys, that we care just a little bit about this." But they don't, right? They've got no track record of doing anything like that. You look at how we got to this position in the first place. By the way, Ben Jacobs had a great write-up about this a couple of days ago. I think it was in Slate, very brief, where he just kind of said, how did we get to this position? And again, it was a master stroke. It was a stroke of genius by somebody around A.G. Paxton and of course by the Attorney General himself, to say, hey, let's hinge this on the Save America Act. Because at the end of the day, this is what it all comes down to, right? If you can't get that thing passed, if the current Senate, if John Cornyn and all his buddies in there are not interested in getting this passed, let's lay it out on the line for Texans. Let's show them what it's really about. And they did. They ran towards the fire in that fight. I mean, that took real cojones, that took the kind of spirit that you can only see from a red-blooded Texan, right? And they did it. And they forced the issue, and look where they are today.
Hang on one second. Return with...
This is Fubo. It's your way to watch ESPN and other top sports networks.
Faith in Freedom by Real America's music artist, Celeste Kellogg. It's a powerful, patriotic anthem for people who still love God, country, and freedom. Rav family, let's send a message to the music industry that we are proud to be Americans. Scan the QR code now to download the song, or search Faith in Freedom on iTunes today. On, family, let's get Celeste Kellogg to #1.
Through every storm, every moment of uncertainty,
everybody needs to pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
Rav has stood strong.
We're not going to tolerate this stuff anymore.
Turn that anger into motivation to save this nation.
When we move together, there is power.
The cries of this widow will echo like a battle cry.
This is more than news. It's a movement.
This revolution of people taking their countries back.
A turning point. A chance to be part of something greater than yourself. Scan the QR code and stand with Rav. The story isn't over, and neither is your part in it. Step in. Be counted. Be heard. Together, we are Rav.
We will achieve American greatness. And we are just getting started.
When the bacon wants real facts and figures, he goes to Rav. Real America's Voice, baby. That's where you get the real scoop and not the poop.
My name is T.J. Ash from Carbonville, Utah. Real America's Voice lets me express my conservative views without censorship or edit.
Hey y'all, it's Nancy from Texas. Real America's Voice gives us truth, not propaganda, and we need that. Thank you so much.
Okay, welcome back. Game day in Texas. Raheem has framed it perfectly, and we'll get back to Raheem in one moment. Scott Pressler joins us out in the field. Scott, just give me the stakes today for the grassroots movement. You're the persistence. You've been all over this country signing people up. Now it's game day in Texas. Your thoughts, sir?
Thank you, Steve. Well, today is day 146 of asking our Senate leadership to pass the Save America Act, which 84% of Americans agree with photo voter ID. And while we have tried to work with members of Congress, while we have tried for the last 5 months to work with them to pass this country-saving legislation, they are currently, Steve, on a 9-day paid vacation, working only 11 calendar days in the month of May. It is clear and it is evident that the Senate has no intent of codifying into law President Trump's agenda. Republicans found out swiftly in Indiana. They found out in Louisiana with Senator Bill Cassidy, incumbent, losing, coming in third place. They found out in Kentucky. And today is Texas's day to show the Senate that they work for us, we the people. And if you have ever wanted the opportunity to hold your elected officials accountable, I ask you, I implore you to get out and vote today. The polls are open right now all across Texas, the 254 counties, until 7 p.m. And I ask you to vote for Ken Paxton. The last thing I'll say, Steve, is John Cornyn has had 24 years in office, 24 years to secure our elections, 24 years to secure our border, and he has not been effective at his job, and it's time for Ken Paxton.
Scott, as you've gone around the country here intensely in the last couple of months, not simply the President Trump, but is when you meet with the grassroots, which you do daily, is this their number one priority right now to get the Save America Act passed?
Yes. The top 3 issues that we voted on to elect Donald Trump with the popular vote were the economy, secure the border, secure our elections, no new wars. Those are the issues the American people want. And again, 84% of Americans want photo voter ID. Even Democrats want photo voter ID. Yes, we are not a free nation without fair elections.
Scott, where do people go today on your social media, your kind of bomber command down there? Where do people go on your social media, your website, to find out more about what action they need to take today to get as many people out to vote as possible? The turnout should be somewhere between 5 and 10%, and it's a very difficult day coming off Memorial Day weekend. A lot of people not around, so they're going to be looking to you for guidance. Where do they go?
The War Room Posse is all about action. Action, action. I implore you right now, download the free Early Vote Action app to your iPhone or Android. Early Vote Action. I have campaigns in there from Montgomery County, Texas. Montgomery County voted plus 27 for Paxton in the primary, but we need big, beautiful turnout today. If every member of the War Room Posse text messages 20, just 20 voters, you could have a major impact from all 50 states getting Texans to come out and vote. Please, I encourage you, download the Early Vote Action app, send 20 text messages, and then ask your friends to also send 20 text messages. That would mean a lot to us on the ground here in Texas. I'm at a polling location right now, Steve, in Ken Paxton's home county of Collin, and I look forward to providing more updates on my social medias throughout the day. And thank you very much for the War Room Posse. Thank you for having me.
Scott, one last thing. I've had the opportunity over the weekend, your book, The Persistence, and can we put it up on the screen if we've got it? Where do people go to get this book? It's a page-turner about your efforts really to change the direction of this country in a grassroots level by getting people engaged. First off, getting them signed up to actually participate and vote, but more importantly, to get them engaged in the direction of their country. Just give me a minute on the book. Where do they get it, and why should they buy it?
Thank you very much. Well, the book, The Persistence, how Scott Presler seized voter registration away from the Democrats, cleaned up America's cities, and also worked to elect Donald J. Trump. That book can be found on Amazon, and it's becoming a bestseller thanks actually to a lot of my haters. So I want to thank Democrats for even purchasing the book. And really, this is a story, Steve, about the power of one. You always talk about being a force multiplier. That's what this book is about. How a dog walker, how a guy who never thought he would be in politics now has the influence of even meeting with the President of the United States through gumption, through sweat equity, through hard work, through persistence. And I believe that is how we're going to save our country, Steve. One by one, heart by heart, vote by vote.
Grit, tenacity, and using your personal agency, sir. You're the personification, the manifestation of it. I want everybody to get that book. Scott, we'll let you go back to work today. Hopefully check in with you in the afternoon show. One more time, Scott, just give where people go to keep up with you today on game day in Texas.
Thank you. I'm on every social media account. It's at Scott Presler, SCOTTPRES1SLER. And I look forward to providing updates throughout the day. Download the Early Vote Action app. Send 20 text messages to Montgomery County, Texas. Thank you, War Room Posse. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Scott. Make sure you go to Amazon and check out the book. Do it today. Raheem Kassam, before we went to break, you were laying out you were framing this as the stakes that are involved here. Can you hit rewind and give that to us again, sir?
Yeah, sure. And, it's always extremely rewarding and gratifying to listen to Scott because, quite frankly, he works his butt off every single day to the level that I think, a lot of people like to think they can get their hands dirty, but doing what he does every day, talking to hundreds of people every day, especially dealing with these people on Capitol Hill.
You and Nigel, this is how you guys built this machine that's going to take over British politics. When I first met you, you guys know how to roll your sleeves up and get dirt under the fingernails. That's Scott Presler. Scott never comes in and wants the big league, wants to have things about him. He's, uses his agency person by person. There's a lot to learn there, that this is how these movements, you guys, what Nigel and you and others have created in England, quite frankly, to me is awe-inspiring, particularly when you talk about no money. What's happened with the grassroots movement is awe-inspiring, particularly on the voter registration. But this is why today in Texas, it's game day, because the establishment is just sitting there and is thinking, hey, we can beat you guys with money. You think you've got the people on your side. You think you have the power of populism on your side, but we just have donor money. And at the end of the day, we're just going to beat you with donor money. Raheem Kassam.
And it is funny you mentioned that because the number of people that will say that to you, to your face, is actually quite extraordinary. You would think that perhaps there would be an element of shame about that. We're not in it for the good reasons or the right reasons. We're just going to beat you with money. But they're quite happy to be those people. And I'm quite happy when days like this happen. Now, listen, it's not a foregone conclusion, I have to say. People actually have to go out there and do it. You can't take it for granted. You can't think, just because he got the Trump endorsement, that means he's going to get it. No, you actually have to go out and line up and cast your ballots. That's what this whole thing is about. That's what this whole campaign has led up to. Please, 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 if you're feeling in any way complacent, as we say in England, give your head a wobble and get back out there and do the right thing. Because, if even if it's close, I would say, that they will think they can do this again next time. And next time they'll just go, then next time we just need to spend $200 million of your money, by the way, donor money, right. RNC donor money, Senate Republican donor money, those emails, those text messages that you get that you respond to. I know a lot of people are awake to it now, but a lot of people still give money that way. That was your money they were spending for John Cornyn. We can go down the whole rabbit hole of opportunity cost, where else it could be spent, where else it could be deployed in the interest of the country, of the nation, of Maga conservatism, but it was spent here trying to smear A.G. Paxton. So it can't be close. And I don't think it will be close. If people go out and do what I think they're going to do today, Steve, you're looking at double-digit victory. But it has to be a double-digit victory. It cannot be a 3 or 4 point victory that doesn't send the message to the political establishment that we need to send today.
And one more time, I'm going to hold you through the break because I got other things to talk about. But This is all about people's personal agency. You have to make it happen today. It's not a foregone conclusion. Don't worry about the polls. Don't think about that. You have to get up and drag people because it's the day after Memorial Day. They did this to make it, more obscure for people to vote. You have to go out and do it today, Raheem.
I think it's everything. It's everything. We didn't do all of what we've done. I mean, listen, when there was a moment when Ken was on the ropes a couple months back, and the consultant class was gloating on social media and leaking to their friends, not their acquaintances, not their colleagues, their friends at Politico and elsewhere. And, some of us just stood up in the breach and said, we'll fight this till we need to, till it's over, till the political death, right? And I think you've got to internalize, a lot of people have put a lot on the line for this moment. Take that as your baseline, then add to that the great things that can happen for the state of Texas.
Amen.
If that man is in the Senate chamber,
in the nation,
just blocking things, but advancing things.
Hang on one second. We're going to take a short commercial break. Raheem Kassam, founder of the National Pulse, with us next.
Half protection is not enough.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel and take Go Pills to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel locked in.
Go Pills are packed with neurotransmitter support. Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
Mic on, lights up. Soldier Fuel keeps me dialed right in.
Both are used by the U.S. military every day.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
And they're now available to you.
This is huge.
Scan the QR codes below and order your supply today.
Hear that pop? So good.
Go to buysoldierfuel.com or search on Amazon.
This is performance fuel. Clean energy, sharp mind. That's how we do it at RAV.
Visit buygopills.com and get 15% off automatically.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Hi, this is Chris from Wisconsin, and I love Real America's Voice because we have great news and a great chat family. God bless all of you.
I'm Andy M., and I love Real America's Voice, where my voice counts and your voice counts. That is America's Voice.
It's Stacy from Texas. I watch Real America's Voice because I need to learn, and I know I can get the truth through RAV. God bless everyone, and always love the children. Amen.
Okay, we have a theory of the case here. The theory of the case is that the salvation of this country comes from working men and women, the working class, the middle class in this country that understand the values of this country and prepare to fight for it. Now, that is what Paxton's entire campaign represents against the political class. This is the Donald Trump's rise to power out of nowhere. This is what Scott Presler does every day. The perfect example of this is in the United Kingdom, in Great Britain. And I saw it firsthand. When we decided to start Breitbart London and Breitbart Rome and Breitbart Jerusalem, first of all, everybody told me, oh, you start these international bureaus, nobody gives a crap. We also started Breitbart Texas because of the invasion, particularly in the Rio Grande Valley at the same time. I hate to say I was right and they were wrong, but I was right. And a lot of this came from the senior-most levels at Fox. The people don't care about international news. And I said, well, it cares about them because it's inextricably linked in this modern world. It's inextricably linked with what happens here. And if you want to build a populist nationalist movement that wins, you have to understand that. And so I hired a James Delingpole, a columnist at the Daily Telegraph. Daily Telegraph had kind of gone what we call, I guess, wet, right? Had become kind of a rhino, like Fox News or National Review, something like that, but also a young firebrand that ran a website, Raheem Kassam, who was touted by everybody out when I went over to London as this guy is the mover and shaker. That's one of the smartest guys in the kingdom. And I had been watching these YouTube videos of this guy in the European Parliament, Nigel Farage. And through Raheem, I got a working level view of this and traipsed around with Raheem and Nigel in the Midlands. And it was like the Tea Party movement beginning in the United States. And Nigel would talk to rooms of 25 people or 100 people or 15 people. No matter where he could get a crowd, he would go do it and put the seeds down of why the political culture in Great Britain was betraying the people, particularly the Tories. And now you saw from this magnificent victory a couple of weeks ago, first of all, Brexit, as soon as we won Brexit, and Raheem was there as one of the leaders of that, as soon as they won Brexit, I think 29 June of 2016, I told everybody, I said, that's the forerunner to Trump. We're going to win in November. I knew Trump was going to win anyway, but I said, this absolutely locks it for me. Look at the people that voted for that. Same things happened here in the United States. And lo and behold, it did. It's one of the reasons I was brought into the campaign in mid-August when they were down, was because of my understanding of how to take the Clintons apart, but also understanding this kind of populist movement, this nationalist movement. And Raheem Kassam was one of the architects of that. Raheem, this gets back to today. You have to deliver on game day, in these early votes and on game day. And a perfect example is the revolution led by Nigel Farage. First off, Nigel Farage is one of the most important people. If you study British history and British political history, he's one of the most important people in British political history just for Brexit. Now what he's done, and particularly in the 250th year of our revolution, you understand about the Tory party and their handling of the foundational element of the British Empire in that time period, where he's replacing a party that's been around for 250 years. Once again, and he will be prime minister one day, a lot of it because of the work of you as one of the architects of it. How does that inform, tell our audience how you guys have done it there, and how does that inform what we're trying to accomplish, particularly in the great state of Texas? Because Texas has got a lot of, first off, there were a lot of British capital came in to build Texas at the very beginning of this, the British merchant banks. Always had a very close relationship with Texas. We also, McElveen and yourself were kind of guiding stars for us with this Sharia law, because we said, hey, we saw what happened in London up close and personal. London has fallen, and we don't want to happen here. Raheem Kassam, the floor is yours, sir.
Well, this is entirely, and thank you, by the way, for all the kind words. The framing is exactly correct. There would have been, unfortunately, you have to go back a long way now, but there would have been a time when you would have said, don't mess with an Englishman. An Englishman's home is his castle. There are all sorts of truisms and phrases and things that we understood about Brits and Englishmen and Scotsmen, Welshmen and Irishmen, about the fortitude and the nature of conquering the world and leading the way and spreading civilization and all of these things. And in the last several decades, at least post Second World War, The spirit has been drained out of so many Brits. And, when Nigel Farage came along in the early 90s and said, no, we actually haven't had enough. We haven't done enough. We haven't built enough. Our best days are not behind us. And he started to pull the pants down of the establishment, no matter who they were, whether it was these weak, and I was talking to him about this yesterday, actually, whether it was these weak Maastricht rebels who gave into the conservative political establishment in the early 90s and joined further with the European Union, whether it was Tony Blair in the European Parliament, Gordon Brown in the European Parliament, the European commissioners themselves, whether it was the BBC, and you looked at, I was there 3 weeks ago covering, and people should go on my YouTube channel, and I have the video uploaded in several places, but the YouTube channel is the easiest, to see behind the scenes of what a campaign like that for somebody like Nigel Farage, and very much would be the same for somebody like Ken Paxton, actually looks like. How much you have to crisscross the country every single day, how much is logistics, how much, fortitude you have to have, how many people you need to speak to, real people that you need to speak to. You go out on the street unannounced and you show up at a town center or a shopping center or a pub, and you actually engage with people. I followed with my camera, with the very camera I'm talking to you on right now, followed Farage around for 2 weeks and saw, because a lot of nonsense is spewed online now. Like, they're going establishment and reform has got too many ex-conservatives in their party. I happen to believe that converting people to your side is a good thing. I remember the 47th president was once a Democrat and was converted to being and running as a Republican, and listen to the way he speaks today about the foundational issues, Save America Act, about Christianity, about beautifying this nation. All of these things could have never happened on a Democrat platform, by the way. So I will take all the converts that we can get and I will convert them. And one thing that really stood out to me, because whatever people want to say on the internet, and there's a lot of people who talk some absolute rubbish about what's going on in England right now, he won 2 weeks ago. The Reform Party, Nigel Farage's party, won 1,500 seats that were up for grabs in local elections, came top of all the parties in the entire country. And that's a reflection on what he's put together and how he's built that movement over decades, by the way. And now you've got a special election, Steve, and I hope to get the audience interested in this as well, because there's a coup going on as a result of Nigel's victory. The coup is going on inside the governing Labour Party. And they're deciding whether to toss out Keir Starmer and replace him with this new guy, Andy Burnham, who happens to be the mayor of Manchester. There's only one problem. The mayor of Manchester isn't in Parliament, so they have to get him a seat in Parliament. So there's a special election on June 18th to try and get this new guy in. And if they get him in, the Labour Party effectively gets another 5 years, and the country can't take that, quite frankly. And the people right now who are trying to stop Farage's party winning that seat and keeping the Labour Party out, this would be the end of the Labour Party if we kept this guy out, by the way, are these small group of people called Restore Britain that is backed by Elon Musk. And these people are polling at 7% in that constituency in the north of England, but that 7% will be enough to return the seat for the Labour Party. Can you imagine that? And these people are doing it out of spite. Rupert Lowe is a spite politician. He's kind of a clown. It's not really his party. It's Elon Musk's party. And I know I get a lot of stick for this. I get a lot of stick for it online. They're very loud online. I don't care, especially on X, funnily enough. Somebody might be boosting their posts. But the stakes are that you have a guy who has built a movement over several decades now, and the entire political establishment is basically resigned to losing to him. Nigel Farage has built that movement. And now you've got these people coming along, and the way I describe them to an American audience, Steve, is kind of like if Ron DeSantis and the Groypers had a baby. And Elon Musk, remember, was a DeSantis guy before he was a Trump guy. Then he tried Doge, he failed at that. Then he threatened to build the America Party, failed at that. Then he started attacking Trump over Epstein, failed at that. Now he's turned his sights on the United Kingdom because he wants more electric vehicle mandates, more H-1B style migration.
Well, hold it. He just said with Nate Morris, he put $10 million back of a candidate that we dumped as soon as he took Elon Musk money. Remember, Charlie Kirk and I were working with this guy, and they took $10 million from Elon Musk. We said, hey, end of any relationship. You took it from the worst person on earth, because Elon Musk is the devil incarnate. And the guy finished, he was running so poorly that he dropped out for some ambassadorship, which will never come. But it's, Elon Musk, he tries to screw up everything he touches because he's not just a megalomaniac, he's worse than that. But once again, tell people what he's trying to do in England and why is this special election so important?
Yeah, I mean, I think he sort of tucked his tail between his legs on American politics. As I just laid out there, Doge was a spectacular failure. Spectacular failure. Not just because it failed really to do anything, and there are all these reasons why, right? He's going to blame, Congress wouldn't pass this and that. Yeah, fine. But surely you knew that going in. Surely you had a plan. You had a strategy. No, okay, fine. You didn't. And now he's turned his attention on the United Kingdom. And what's really interesting, that graphic that was just up on the screen, I want that back up actually, because I'm going to walk people through that real quick. That graphic, what it shows is last night, the chief organizer, the chief spokesman and campaigns director for this Restore Britain party, it's a guy called Charlie Downs, who actually, I think, applied to be in the Conservative Party a year ago and got turned away, the establishment Conservative Party. He tweeted last night, Restore Britain is an enemy of populism. Yes, 2010's populism, as embodied in the figure of Trump and his friends like Farage, has been utterly defeated as a radical figure. It now belongs to the establishment and has no teeth. Well, Charlie Downs is going to see today if Trumpism is defeated. Here in Texas, you want to raise a question or whether or not the Maga movement is defeated. Watch what happens here today in Texas. What's going on in the United Kingdom, funnily enough, should motivate Texas voters to go out today to send a message to Elon Musk and his flunkies like Charlie Downs and Rupert Lowe that the MAGA movement is not and will not be defeated. This kind of splitting is exactly what the political establishment wants. And there's a huge question mark over whether or not Elon Musk and all of these guys are actually working hand in hand with the British political establishment to stop a real change coming in the United Kingdom. It makes me sick, but it makes me more resolved every day to do something about it.
Raheem, where do people go to follow this? We want to have you back on, particularly on this topic of Musk trying to drive a wedge between populism and nationalism in Great Britain. Where do people go?
That's exactly what he's doing. TheNationalPulse.com, we're going to have full spectrum coverage of it on my YouTube channel as well. Ironically on X, also taking the fight right to him, parking my tanks on his lawn. Make sure that you're following there because I'm trying. I was in London, then I was in New York, then I was in DC, then I was in Miami, now I'm in Dallas. I'm trying to get back to London for this special election in the next couple of weeks, bring you exclusive coverage from there because it is that big. TheNationalPulse.com. Thank you, Steve.
We'll talk to you right after the show. Make sure you get over there. Short break. Artificial intelligence next in the world.
I always hear about how we should take care of our disabled veterans.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel and take Go Pills to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel locked in.
Go Pills are packed with neurotransmitter support. Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
Mic on, lights up. Soldier Fuel keeps me dialed right in.
Both are used by the U.S. military every day.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
And they're now available to you.
This is huge.
Scan the QR codes below and order your supply today.
Hear that pop? So good.
Go to buysoldierfuel.com or search on Amazon.
This is performance fuel. Clean energy, sharp mind. That's how we do it at RAV.
Visit buygopills.com and get 15% off automatically.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Hi, this is Chris from Wisconsin, and I love Real America's Voice because you have great news and a great chat family. God bless all of you.
I'm Andy M., and I love Real America's Voice, where my voice counts and your voice counts. That is America's Voice.
It's Stacy from Texas. I watch Real America's Voice because I need to learn, and I know I can get the truth through RAV. God bless everyone, and always love the children. Amen.
Welcome back. Raheem is going to be up all day in Texas, plus this new event happening in the United Kingdom. We're going to get to all that. I'll catch Raheem afterwards. So down in Texas, make sure you go to his Twitter feed and National Pulse. They're putting up stuff all day in his YouTube channel. John Schwebe over at American Principles Project, but you also have got you're a senior advisor to Terry Schilling and the team there. But you also have a Populous Solutions site. John, you put up some stuff yesterday. There was a lot of, the Pope put out this encyclical, and people know I'm not a huge fan of Prevost. But on this one, I thought it was quite interesting for him to step in the middle of this. He put this up. But the most interesting thing was your take on the fact, and we can talk about the Pope, but there was a total meltdown by the oligarchs, and particularly the oligarchs, lackeys, and grundoons in Silicon Valley about this. And I think that this thing now, and people should know there's a ton of work going on the executive order, and particularly with people like Scott Bessent, a safe pair of hands, and it's being fought by the oligarchs. And this is going to be, we're having a battle here, and one side's going to win and one side's going to lose. John, talk to me about these tweets you put up yesterday about the encyclical, but particularly what I call the hoplites, the lackeys in Silicon Valley that responded yesterday.
Yeah, well, I think, I would encourage our audience to read the encyclical. It's 40,000 words, so it's tough to get through, but it's really, really interesting. A lot of focus on Catholic social teaching in addition to AI, and I think it kind of sets the stage for where Pope Leo is going to go from here. But one of the things I thought was really interesting was, he basically talked about how technology should be oriented towards human flourishing, which is a pretty simple concept. It's a basic concept in Catholic social teaching, and it's hard to disagree with that. You would think that's what everybody wants. And certainly a lot of these AI guys, David Sachs, some others came out and basically said, yeah, of course we agree with that. We might have some disagreements about the level of government regulation, but generally we want to see AI serve humanity. But there was a subset of folks in Silicon Valley.
Hang on. But Sachs and that's a bald-faced lie. Every action they take, that's just their cover. They don't want human flourishing. You have this report, I think, out of The Guardian yesterday that 20% of young boys, I think, between 12 and 15, 20% of young men between 12 and 15 have an AI girlfriend right now that these people are pushing. David Sachs, Elon Musk, these guys have no interest in human flourishing whatsoever. They'll say whatever they have to say to make sure that we can't not somehow even have the modicum of a regulatory apparatus, sir?
I should rephrase that. What I mean is that they are certainly going to say and be smart enough politically to recognize that everyone should want human flourishing out of this. And so obviously folks are going to say that. I thought it was interesting, though, that a lot of the true believers came out on X yesterday to basically say, no, we think that these AI beings, and that's what they call them, beings or entities, are ultimately going to supersede humanity, that they're going to, that we're going to become junior partners in civilization. And it was revealing to see a lot of those folks kind of going down that road and logically where it ends. And so, I was pointing out that this is a cult of human diminishing. It's very different than human flourishing. This is a fever dream of these folks that they're going to create a world where AI will replace everything about humanity, and that we ultimately will be subservient. They even talk about their ethics, and you'll hear some of the Anthropic guys or others, really focus on that. But when they're talking about ethics, they really don't mean what the technology itself does, where they really want no limits. They're talking about making sure that we have welfare programs and sustenance for humanity, kind of pushing us towards a matrix-like future where we're completely subordinated to the machine. And so I think politically, you're obviously seeing some folks recognize if they want to push AI, that they need to speak a certain way and they need to recognize the wisdom in the Pope's encyclical. But some of these guys cannot hold back, Steve, and it's really revealing.
But I want to go back to this because these are kind of the mid-level management and the workers, but they are manifesting what their leaders say behind closed doors. Everything you see that they're saying publicly is just their consultants saying, you better say this or you're going to get shut down. The accelerationist versus the decelerationist. And we're not decelerationist. What we are is that we want a coherent program. Number one, we want to stop funding and fueling the Chinese Communist Party's rise in the world of artificial intelligence. Because, yes, they are very dangerous on every technology they get. You read Kill to Order on organ harvesting. That's just one. On every technology they get their hands on, they put it at the use of the Marxist state. Remember, Whittaker Chambers taught us that the difference between Western civilization and the Marxist-Leninist apparatus is a deep-seated belief in God, and God is central. That's the West. God is central, and actually everything revolves around one's belief in God versus the Marxists, which are cold-blooded atheists. If you want to see that they've now created their own God, just look at these tweets that happened yesterday. Just give it to me in a minute. I'm holding through the break. In a minute, what was their response yesterday about human flourishing, sir?
Well, they believe fundamentally that we are to be junior partners in civilization, and so that we need to figure out how to sustain and find meaning for humans when we're not really leading civilization anymore. And I think that's something we have to aggressively dispute. Ultimately, humans are created in the image of God. We can't create something that is also in the image of God. It's not possible. And the Pope actually goes into this in his encyclical. This is the Tower of Babel story. And ultimately, it's happening again, this desire to create higher beings that are greater than ourselves. We can't do that. And ultimately, I think a comeuppance will happen if we dare try.
John, can you hang on for a second? I want to just hold you through the break. What's the Populous site? Give your Populous site where people can go.
So I was in the administration last year for a year over at the FTC. Had a great time. Andrew Ferguson doing good work over there. But I wanted to come into American Principles Project and really try to reorient the party towards being more populist. And so we have this blog over at Substack, populistSolutions.substack.com, where we are coming up with ideas for where the party should go. Yeah. Should we be, our economics needs to be more oriented towards families, not towards corporations, these types of things. And so we're trying to come up with as many ideas as we can.
And these ideas are big. Just stick around. Take your phone out, text Bannon, B-A-N-N-O-N, at 989898. The ultimate guide, totally free, no obligation, for investing in gold and precious metals in the age of Trump, from Birch Gold.
Everybody hates Beth. She eats all the food she loves and stays slim. Kim starves herself.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel and take Go Pills to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel locked in.
Go Pills are packed with neurotransmitter support. Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
Mic on, lights up. Soldier Fuel keeps me dialed right in.
Both are used by the U.S. military every day.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
And they're now available to you.
This is huge.
Scan the QR codes below and order your supply today.
Hear that pop? So good.
Go to buysoldierfuel.com or search on Amazon.
This is performance fuel. Clean energy, sharp mind. That's how we do it at RAV.
Visit buygopills.com and get 15% off automatically.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Of a dying regime. Pray for our enemies, because we're going medieval on these people. You're just not got a free shot on all these networks lying about the people. The people have had a belly full of it. I know you don't like hearing that. I know you try to do everything in the world to stop that, but you're not going to stop it. It's going to happen.
And where do people like that go to share the big lie? Maga media. I wish in my soul, I wish that any of these people had a conscience.
Ask yourself, what is my task and what is my purpose? If that answer is to save my country, this country will be saved.
War Room. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
It is Tuesday, 26 May, year of Lord 2026. John Schwebe from American Principles Project and a former Trump administration at 47 figure over the FTC. I want to go back to something, particularly War Room Posse members been with us for a while. You understand that I refer a lot to the Gospel of Mark. Why do I refer a lot to the Gospel of Mark? I refer a lot to the Gospel of Mark because that is the first gospel, and it is the first written word, and it was dictated essentially by St. Peter to his secretary, Mark, waiting for his execution in Nero's Rome after the Christians had been blamed for the burning of Rome, which Nero did. Early on in that gospel, and John just referred to part of the gospel, but I think this is what is the most damning of what people have to, my recommendation is focus on when we brought Joe Allen over here 5 years ago on transhumanism. Now, why did we do that? Not that we needed another topic to cover, not that we felt that, you know, we had to fill up airtime. No, because as I told you at the time, and he was writing for the Federalist, Sean Davis's fantastic site, is that we knew I had tried to put together a film after my first directorial debut, which was In the Face of Evil, off of Peter Schweitzer's book, Reagan's War, back in 2003, 2004, which won every award given to conservative films. It really got me into from being a financier and an investment banker and really a business type, in financing in the film business and other places to really focus on politics. The second is I tried to do the Singularity back in 2004 with some of the people that put together The Passion of the Christ. Steve McAveety and that team. I couldn't get it financed because I realized that this issue of the singularity was going to be a big issue. This back in 2004, 2005. And why is that? That's why I got Joe Allen on here, because this is not about country power. This is not about national power. This is not about sorting out our country. This is about the species itself and something even very deeper. And I refer to this, I think, unlocks one of the most difficult to understand passages in the Bible. And trust me, I am no biblical scholar, okay? I'm just not. First off, raised as a Catholic, as people know, particularly old school Catholicism, didn't really spend all that much time in the Gospels. That's changed over time. But it's Mark 3, 28, 30. It's very early on where Christ sends his disciples out to spread the message that he's sending, and particularly to heal the sick and cure the blind, make the lame walk, signs and wonders. And they come back and they report back, yeah, we did this, right? You told us to do it, we did it. He said, how'd it go? Well, it went okay. But a lot of people say that the reason that we can do this is, you're Beelzebub. This is all magic, or this is witchcraft. This is satanic. And Christ informs them once again, and you see this throughout Mark, where Christ is doing has these great powers because he's channeling the Holy Spirit. Mark starts. There's no Bethlehem. There's not like the Gospel of St. Matthew. There's no build up to essentially him coming and meeting with John the Baptist, getting baptized, and then going to the desert for 40 days. It's kind of like, let's cut to the action. No build up. So when the disciples tell him, hey, he tells them, and this is from the King James Version, verily I say unto you, all sins shall be forgiven unto the sons of men, and blasphemies wherewithal soever they shall blaspheme. But he that shall blaspheme against the Holy Ghost hath never forgiveness, but is in danger of eternal damnation, because they said he hath an unclean spirit. Basically, he's telling them there's an eternal, this is the thing about an eternal damnation. There is a eternal sin that cannot be erased. This is the Son of God telling them that I can't do this. It cannot be erased. You're forever damned by blaspheming the Holy Spirit. Now, what is the Holy Spirit? John just said it previously. We are made in the image and likeness of God. The Holy Spirit's central to that. That is what transhumanism is all about. You cannot see it more in your face than you're saying. And people know I'm no big fan of the Pope. However, this was an encyclical, just like I think the original Leo, or one of the original Leos, not original, but previous in the 19th century, wrote an encyclical about the industrial age. They say a lot of Catholic social teaching is predicated upon this, particularly to workers and to the working class and to the beginning of the burgeoning middle class. So his was done for the artificial intelligence, the post-industrial revolution. That's what this encyclical did. Whether you agree with it or not, it drew out the demons. This is why Shrebi's tweet is so powerful. It drew out the demons, just like when Christ would go and you see everybody's not Satan. They're not all the top guy. He has lots of. Remember when he meets the one guy coming out of the cave before he condemns him the pig? We are legion. We are legion. There are legions of these demons, and they came out yesterday online and attacked everybody that was defending this and said, no, we're not interested in human flourishing. Humans are not going to flourish. The machine is going to flourish. That is the new God. What has it been saying that this encyclical was about pointing out the 21st century Tower of Babel? This is why we're doing it. We're at a decision point for the species. What you're fighting for here is even bigger than the United States and the great fights we have for populism and nationalism, for our own sovereignty and for your sovereignty. This is a battle for the species. And you're going to see, as we said, when they went to Davos a couple of years ago and they dropped ChatGPT, and what did I say when it was in Davos? I said, you wait till venture capital gets into this thing, it's going to explode, because now they're going to see not just power, they're going to see money and wealth beyond all comprehension. Look at these IPOs, initial public offerings. We just discussed Elon Musk and what he's trying to do. The IPO is, I think, I don't know, 1.5 trillion. If you read the prospectus or even parts of the prospectus, it is a disgrace that the investment bank I used to work at back in the 80s, you would have been fired, terminated as an investment banker at that firm, Goldman Sachs, if you had even mentioned what's in this prospectus. Because why? They know they're going to make a ton of money as the lead underwriter on this, and as others on OpenAI and Anthropic, all of it. You think you've seen the power crush? You have not seen anything yet. If you want to know about the devil in Satan on the earth, just watch it all. Go to Shrubby, just look at their tweets in their own words. This is not John putting words in their mouth. This is not Bannon putting words in their mouth. This is their own words. They're demonic, and they're proud to be demonic. They're proud to be demonic. And if you think you can look the other way, you are wrong. Why do we spend so much time on this? Why do we fight so many guys, particularly people on our side of the football? We don't think they understand the depth of this. This is the fight for humanity right here. If you go down this path, if you turn it all over to them and the accelerationists get to accelerate, you are summoning the demon, full stop. There is no middle ground in this. There is none. John Schwebe, your thoughts and observations, sir.
Well, I completely agree with you, and I think you said it in a very powerful way. You know, one of the things that was shocking to me yesterday, Dean Ball, who previously worked in the administration, spoke of a grand humbling, and he almost was excited to talk about this, that basically humanity would be humbled standing before these powerful beings that they've created. And all I could think of was the golden calf, you know, that they're basically saying we have to worship these. But this is kind of where they're at. And I almost see it as the, you know, I'm not an expert on transhumanism by any means, but I almost see it as the final stage of transhumanism, where transhumanism was about thumbing our nose at our creator and saying we can do it better, we can create better. And now, instead of perfecting the human person or the human body, we're actually saying we can create a Frankenstein monster that's superior to humanity.
But John, don't bury the lead. Do not bury the lead. Dean Ball, who you responded to when I saw it, go back. He was actually in this administration. The grand humbling. They're talking about the humbling of our species, that you and your children and your grandchildren are going to be on your knees as a supplicant to a machine. Not my words, not Schwebe's words, their thoughts, the grand humbling. Are you down with that? Do you want to be the generation or the people on earth in your lived experience that you're going to get on your knees and be a supplicant? That's the only question you have to ask yourself. Read it from him. Do you want to be part of the grand humbling? Do you want to be on your knees to a machine? Do you? Will you? If you look the other way, you are. You've given me your answer. If you're down for this fight, get down for this fight. If it's too much for you, that's fine. John, tell me about Ball and the grand humbling.
Well, I think ultimately what they believe is that this is inevitable, that there's nothing we can do, that the creations that they've made are everything set into motion, and that they are going to stun us in how capable they are. But I think ultimately the folks who are endorsing this are divorced from the faith. They don't believe in God, or they're in open defiance of God. And I think it's really going to be important for us to have clarity on who these folks are and what they want. And certainly I think Pope Leo's encyclical, I don't think it was very radical at all. I think it was basically saying, if we're going to do this on this technology, it has to be oriented towards what's best for humanity, what allows humanity to flourish. And so when you have these guys, Steve, just really quick, when you have these guys who have been laughing about job losses or laughing about, how this is going to fundamentally reshape our economy, that's evil. Like, there can't be a future of AI without it being oriented towards human flourishing.
In the fallen angels, what was about Lucifer? It was their arrogance. Why do we have to humble ourselves in front of this God? Aren't we gods? Can't we be gods? Isn't that what the rebellion was all about? Their arrogance. You tell me that's any difference in what you're seeing coming out of these demons in Silicon Valley, and they are demons.
That's why
you tell me there's any difference?
The Tower of Babel analogy that the Pope used was so perfect, because I think it's literally the same thing. And again, I think I'm not a doomer totally on AI. I do think that there's potential for this technology, but man, if it's not going to be oriented towards helping us and being our tool, and where we're going to be reacting to it, I think that's not great.
Shrubby, hang on. I'm going to tell you through the break, and we'll give you all your coordinates when we get back. Of course it's not. That's why the AI agentic, you're creating your digital self, that's going to replace you. You think that the agent is just going to sit there? Oh, he's me, except better. It's a total and complete sucker's play. Here's the beauty of it. In all of human history, it comes down to this decision point, inflection.
We're living through a monetary crime scene, and your IRA or 401.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel and take Go Pills to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel locked in.
Go Pills are packed with neurotransmitter support. Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
Mic on, lights up. Soldier Fuel keeps me dialed right in.
Both are used by the U.S. military every day.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
And they're now available to you.
This is huge.
Scan the QR codes below and order your supply today.
Hear that pop? So good.
Go to buysoldierfuel.com or search on Amazon.
This is performance fuel. Clean energy, sharp mind. That's how we do it at RAV.
Visit buygopills.com and get 15% off automatically.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Hi, this is Chris from Wisconsin, and I love Real America's Voice because you have great news and a great chat family. God bless all of you.
I'm Andy M., and I love Real America's Voice, where my voice counts and your voice counts. That is America's Voice.
It's Stacy from Texas. I watch Real America's Voice because I need to learn, and I know I can get the truth through Rav. God bless everyone, and always love the children. Amen.
birchgold.com/Bannon. Mo, did I get that right? /Bannon. End of the dollar empire. We've got a lot about debt and what's going on that I got to get into. But go there. You got 8 free installments. If you want to get the hard copy, which I love, they're on back order. But you get all free 8 that we've been doing since 2021. And I might add, not wrong on that either. Wow. We don't normally boast of the word, but I'm kind of in that mood today. Go check it out. Talk to Philip Patrick. And Philip Patrick is going to be here on Thursday. We're going to lay a bunch of stuff out. Take a lot of time with Philip on Thursday morning. John, so Joe Allen is out. He's worked all night. He's going to be back here at 5. He's going to take a cut at this. John, you're going to take a cut of it also. I think it was Leo the 13th back in the 19th century that did one of these encyclicals to lay out kind of Catholic social teaching in the Industrial Revolution, because people realize, it started out a little rough in England, in the United States. This is for really the post-industrial or artificial intelligence. So where can they get you, John? I know you're just working on it now. It's going to be a while, but where can they get you to get all your thinking on this, and particularly the fact that you've drawn the fire. You're out now with these demons that are out there right now pushing this. The grand, right? Take your number 2 pencil out. Write this down and repeat it throughout the day. The grand humbling. Are you going to be part of that? You going to be part of that? Just ask yourself. That's all you need to do. You're going to be part. You're going to get on your knees and be a supplicant to the machines that they're building, because that is exactly 100% they're doing. And if you participate in these IPOs, you're taking your capital and you're funding it. And guess what? You should go look at your pension fund managers and see what they're doing, because they're all going to pile into this. John, where do people go, sir?
Yes, I'll have something this week out on this. I want to reread it because it was 42,000 words. But it's going to be up at populissolutions.substack.com. I have a link to it on my Twitter bio. But yeah, very excited to cover this. I think, when Pope Leo was selected and he chose Leo the 14th as his name, a lot of us anticipated, he might have some very interesting commentaries building off of Leo the 13th's work. And that's what we're seeing here. So should be pretty good. Very excited to write about it.
That's what it's about. So direct connection. John, thank you. One more time, your Twitter feed. Where do people go to get you on social media?
I'm at John Schweppe, Jon Schweppe on X. And then, my Substack is populissolutions.substack.com.
And the work you're doing over for Terry and the team over there is fantastic. American Principles Project, just great. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you taking time.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Rabbi Daniel joins us. Rabbi, you've got the Young Republicans. You're having a get-together, I would say, outside of Gracie Mansion tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We want everybody in the New York City area that can make it to make it. Are you there to congratulate and thank the mayor of New York for the great work he's done in the last couple of months?
No, we're there to ask him to resign. And if he doesn't do so, we're going to push Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, to have him resign. I mean, this is very serious.
Rabbi, how can you have him to resign when his ratings are near, I think that I saw on MSNBC, near all-time highs for a mayor? If you take Rudy post 9/11, he's at an all-time high. So why would he entertain resigning at all?
Not sure what he's going to do, but this is the will of New Yorkers today. I mean, this is a broad coalition, Steve, of Christians, Muslims, Zionists even, Hindus, African Americans, Latinos, Republicans, Democrats. We're speaking out about the Islamization of the city and also the Red-Green Alliance. I mean, this is a DSA member, Zohar Mamdani. He took over the Democratic slate. He's not a Democrat. And so we're in serious trouble in New York City, and people are getting the message. And that's why we're so excited to unite with so many great speakers and so many organizations co-sponsoring this event. It's really remarkable. And enough is enough. You know, there was a demonstration in front of a synagogue on May 11th in Flatbush, but the news is not picking up. There was a rally and a riot through a very quiet Jewish community. People were beaten up. A young Jewish girl was thrown to the ground. Rocks were thrown at people. This is extreme violence hitting our streets. We feel discriminated about. Everybody agrees with it. This is not just a Jewish problem. This is a citywide problem, and that's why the coalition is so broad.
Do people think it's a citywide problem and they just don't think it's a Jewish problem? I mean, you've got groups that are coming together that don't agree on anything. Are you actually saying there are actually Muslims coming to this event that are saying that the Red-Green Alliance they don't agree with? They don't agree with Mandami's put the Muslim community kind of first, or, you know, first among equals, I think he would say. You're saying Muslims are actually going to come to this?
Oh, there definitely are. There's a woman named Anila Ali. She has a big national organization of Muslims that are against Mamdani, and they're very pro-Israel, very pro-Judeo-Christian civilization. These are people that fled from countries like Pakistan, that came to America. They don't like his extremism. I believe we're seeing a crack in his coalition right now. Not all Muslims back this guy. It's very obvious. We're going to see them turn out tonight as well. And when I speak to them, they hate the Red-Green Alliance. They don't want a socialist in power. They don't want an Islamic extremist in power, but they're upset about his position on prostitution, homosexuality as well. They believe he's a danger to New York City. They're coming out as well tonight.
Isn't one of his strongest constituents, I've said that, I've talked to you about it, I've talked to Rabbi Walicki and others, that one of his biggest still coalition partners and a group that kind of drove him, I think a third of the Jews in New York City voted for him. His administration's got progressive Jewish members. Has that been addressed within the Jewish community to say, hey, look, guys, what are we doing here? The violence is getting worse. Why are you guys working for him? Why are you supporting him? Why are you, championing him in the media, sir?
Well, 2/3 of the Jewish community went against him. Every single Jewish community council, which represents various neighborhoods in New York, all went out against Mamdani. I don't think the press is pointing that enough. But of course, everybody's really angry, and we see what's happening, the discrimination against our community. We see the attack on synagogues. You guys all watched on TV, the attacks on Park East. These are not simple attacks. These are violent attacks where people are carrying Hezbollah and Hamas flags. I think that's enough to break his coalition of Jews at the moment. But let's look at his real administration. His administration are filled with Islamists and some very far left-wing Jews. We don't agree with them. Hopefully they'll wake up. We can't promise you, but we're doing the best we can to get everybody on our side right now because he's a danger to everyone, not just the Jewish community.
How the left-wing Jews, when you guys sit down and talk to them and say, look, these are organized attacks on synagogues, a place of worship. You guys don't have to be observant, but you're Jewish. Can't you see the attacks? What is their response?
Well, they went to Columbia University, they went to Harvard. These are the same places that were demonstrating in the encampments of Hamas after October 7th. These people are brainwashed. It's hard to talk to people that are brainwashed, but I think the vast majority of Jews are seeing what's going on today. And the far left-wing kooks that are his administration will have to resign eventually because they'll eventually see he's a danger to everybody. You know, when the Islamists came in Iran in 1979, it wasn't just the Islamists, it was his coalition with the communists. Eventually what happened in Iran is the Islamists got rid of the communists. So we're going to probably see that happen in New York for now. I don't know how long it takes, but they're also in danger.
And so tonight at 7 p.m., where do people go to get information? 7 p.m., you're going to stand outside Gracie Mansion and demand and have, a series of speakers that demand that Mamdani, and correct me if I'm wrong, who's I think feels he's at the top of his popularity, resign, correct?
Yeah, we got some great speakers. Brendan Straka from the Walkaway Movement. He's a co-sponsor and he's speaking. Sid Rosenberg from WC Radio. David Zier. I'm sure you know about David Zier. He's speaking tonight in front of Mamdani. Bill Donahue from the Catholic League. And Scott Lobiato, that famous artist that I think made a portrait of Donald Trump. He's coming tonight as well. This is a very, very broad coalition. It's tonight at 7 p.m. It's Tuesday night, and it's in front of Gracie Mansion. The more people come out, the broader the coalition, the more the message gets through that we don't want to stand for this leader anymore in our city. We want to change.
Rabbi, one more time, where do people go?
They go to endjewhatred.com/Mamdani. They started this movement just a few weeks ago to get everybody together. The response has been incredible. We look forward to people looking at the website and joining us tonight.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Great to be with you, Steve.
Our own David Zier. Not at the Pentagon today. He's going to be at Gracie Mansion. Cameron Kinsey. You were the first term. I just got a couple of questions. You were the first term in President Trump's 45. Is President, because I get this all the time now, is President Trump eliminating the income tax right now, ma'am?
No, we've gotten such just the most influx of calls we've seen to date with people who think that they can ignore this problem. We tell them all the time that the IRS's job is to collect. And you know what, Steve, I want to say this again. A lot of people are too embarrassed or too afraid to even say their financial situation to our professionals. But the truth is the IRS has so many resources available, but they're not going to do free advertisement for that. I mean, that can look like offers and compromise, hardship status requests, innocent spouse relief, just depending on the person's case and what documents that we're able to gather up to kind of see a full picture of what that would look like. But again, these penalties, this interest, it's just going to keep compounding, you guys. So get ahead of this. Use the free resources that me and Steve have told you about, the free investigative call. We're still upholding that for our War Room posse to this day. We can see if an IRS agent has been assigned to your case, what that looks like, what you may owe. But don't let fear dictate your life right now, you guys, because again, this interest, it's just going to keep compounding. This is going to spiral, because what feels manageable to date today is just going to quickly snowball. And again, we're doing the free consultation as well. If you call us, you're a little bit on the fence, you don't know what your case may look like, you may not have all the missing documents, that's okay. Get a clearer view of what you're going through right now. And again, there's so many options available. We basically act as a liaison between you and the IRS, so you're not waiting on hold for hours. We're basically the middleman for you. We have CPAs, licensed attorneys, even former IRS agents who know the tax code inside and out and know how to help you. But the thing is that you just have to take that first step, you guys. It's very, very easy. It's a free call with our team. We dive into your financial picture a little bit deeper and see what you're going through. And then from there, we can see what options are available.
Hang on one second. I'm just going to hold you through the break so we can give the number, the hotline number, a free consultation, save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars.
January 7th of 2021, they said the Maga movement was dead.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play. At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
I'm Andy M., and I love Real America's Voice, where my voice counts and your voice counts. That is America's Voice.
This is Giselle Chaffin. I'm from North Carolina. I'd like to let you know that RAV News is the best news. Number one news. Truth seekers seek to find the truth. It'll set you free.
Hello, all you Ravagers. I'm Billy Howell, your old buddy Carefree Largo from the chat, and I'm thrilled to be part of the Rav family. When I want to be heard, I use my Real America's voice.
Contributor Scott Besson, now Secretary of Treasury, is overseeing on an interim basis the IRS. He will reiterate that the president, it's aspirational. The president would like to do away with income taxes sometime in the future with tariff revenue, all that. It's not going to happen anytime soon. So you have to find, you can't, because President Trump's there, not file. Those type of questions at Tax Network USA are just, it's absurd, but if you want to ask them, call them and ask them. But most importantly, you get a free consultation on the bid and the ask, what your position is, what the IRS position is, and then you can figure it out with Tax Network USA. They've solved billions of dollars of problems, so they've heard your tale of woe before. Cameron from Trump 45, can you one more time give the special hotline you've got for the War Room Posse that they can call and get a free consultation that normally costs hundreds if not thousands of dollars, ma'am?
Yes, we've had so many callers. We've had to change the number for you guys. So call 866-513-5516. You can talk to a team member directly, or you can go to our website, tnusa.com/Bannon. It's a quick form and somebody will be with you.
Cameron, thank you so much. Thank you for your work in the first term, and hopefully in the not too distant future, you'll be in the second term. So thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks. Keith Sonderling is the acting Secretary of Labor. He joins us now. So one way we close this deficit is to stop all this fraud. You got to cut costs. One of the ways to cut costs is fraud. American taxpayers want to make sure that their resources and money is spent appropriately. Mr. Secretary, can you walk us through the efforts that you guys are going through right now, your team is going through right now to solve this problem?
Well, as you know, President Trump has made it a priority of his administration to stop the waste, fraud, abuse, and corruption that we've seen for so long in the federal government. And we're honored to be a part of the White House task force to combat this fraud that the vice president is leading. And DOL plays a significant role in this because administering the unemployment insurance system throughout the country has just been riddled with fraud. So during the pandemic, we saw around $900 billion go out to really help Americans that had lost their job related to the pandemic. But looking back, out of that $900 billion, over $135 billion of that was stolen, fraud, taken from the American people, taken from the tax people, and it was done through sophisticated criminal rings. And it was also done just by people who were completely taking advantage of the systems, because we rely on the states to do a lot of the identification and verification checks. And what we saw was fraud was rampant. The money was just going out the door. Nobody was checking. And we're tired in this administration of pay first and verify later. So that's a very big part of what we're changing. But really just to drill down on how bad this fraud was, and $135 billion is one of the largest taxpayer thefts in U.S. history. It got so easy that people in prison, Social Security numbers related to people in prison, were getting unemployment insurance. Children under the age of 14 got over $1.3 billion in unemployment insurance. And we know that doesn't work, because to get unemployment insurance, you have to lose your job and be eligible to work. So dead people were getting unemployment insurance. Thousands of people over the age of 115 years old were getting unemployment insurance. And we believe the oldest person in the U.S. is around 114 and 115. That's one person, not thousands. But I believe the most egregious example of this, just to show you how rampant the fraud was, somebody with a birth date of the year 2154 was able to apply for unemployment insurance and get it. So we're doing everything we can now twofold. Number one, to stop this fraud from occurring, to stop making it so easy for criminals or those who want to take advantage of our system to be able to just go online and apply for unemployment insurance or steal Social Security numbers and be able to get it. And number two, prosecute through our Inspector General, who's Anthony D'Esposito. His main mission now is to go after criminally these people who stole our hard-earned taxpayer money. So unemployment insurance fraud was rampant. And to your point, we are doing everything we can, not only to stop the fraud, but start to get the money back.
So, Mr. Secretary, you said $900 billion was ultimately put forward in this, $135 billion, which I don't know, 15, 17% of it was stolen. These were not mistakes. These were not, that $135 billion were not people that just got confused and filled out the wrong form, or a government employee just got confused and approved it. This was, you believe, actually an act of theft from the American people, sir?
These were deliberate actions to steal Social Security numbers, file them in multiple states. You know, when you get unemployment, it's for one employer in the state you live in. We saw one Social Security number apply for unemployment insurance across the country. We saw pools of stolen Social Security numbers file in over 40 plus states. So these were by criminal actors who knew what they were doing, whether creating getting Social Security numbers, creating fake companies, creating fake email addresses. And the sad part about it, or maybe not the surprising part about it, our foreign adversaries also took advantage of this. So we were seeing from everywhere from North Korea to places in Africa to China stealing U.S. Social Security numbers, creating either fake companies or linking them up to companies where these people worked, applying for unemployment insurance and taking that money out of the country, or gangs taking this money to launder money or to buy weapons or to buy drugs. We even saw a really just ridiculous example where unemployment insurance money was stolen to build and operate a restaurant, and then they used SNAP fraudulent money to actually buy the food. So the fraud just got so out of control, and that's what President Trump is here to eliminate through this task force and making sure that it doesn't happen again by really clamping down on the states to make sure that they have these identification systems in place using biometrics, using AI, actually making people who are applying for this unemployment insurance have ID and verification check. And that just wasn't happening. This whole notion of we'll pay you and then we'll verify you later never works, and it's over in the Trump administration.
You have breakage or some percentage in any business scale that's just going to slip through the cracks, incompetence or whatever, but not at these levels, 135 billion and 900 billion. Are you confident that this was not also an act of insider's game, that there are members of either state governments or interface with federal government or federal government employees, either Social Security or to get the numbers themselves, that were not actively involved? It just seems to boggle the mind that you get $135 billion if somehow there weren't groups, essentially criminal groups inside the government that were approving this, sir.
Well, that's what our Inspector General is looking, not just at the states, but across the board, to see everyone involved in these payments, to make sure that all processes and protocols were followed. And obviously, a lot of them weren't in place, and that's what we're working hard to make sure that there are new procedures in place. But anyone involved in this, whether it's stealing Social Security numbers or fraudulently approving them or being involved in the back end, we're going to go after criminally, and we're going to prosecute those. And that's why I was excited to launch the initiative with our Inspector General, who has that criminal authority, can issue criminal subpoenas, and he's going to do exactly that. So it's not just putting new protocols in place, it's sending a message and going after these bad actors in criminal rings, whether they're in state governments, whether they're in the federal governments, or just criminals out there, to make sure that they're going to be held accountable, and that's what we're doing. And today we still even see it's still happening today, and especially in states where New York, where it does have the highest continuation of fraud payments percentage-wise. So New York, California, Illinois, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania are states that are still a problem, and we're going after that pretty significantly. We actually have a strike force going out to over 20 states. They most recently landed in California, so they're DOL employees on the ground looking into this And we can promise the American taxpayer that we're going to do everything we can to get back any single dollar, because that's a dollar back to the taxpayer that was stolen.
That's the next question I was going to ask. The recoupment of the $135 billion, is that even a possibility given the element that you're going after?
Well, we'll believe it to this day, it is still a possibility. Just last week, the Inspector General and I sent a letter to financial institutions to freeze almost $1 billion that has been on debit cards. So during the pandemic and a lot of these programs, as you know, instead of needing a bank account, which has a lot more traceability and transparency, they just go to debit cards. Which are much harder to trace. So the government is literally putting money on debit cards related to these programs. So we believe that there's around 900 million plus that are sitting on debit cards that are linked to frauds. And we just told the financial institutions last week to freeze that. And since we put a lot of these new protocols in place, really working with the states and territories to make sure that they have that ID verification, that they are ensuring that the people who are applying for unemployment insurance are who they say they are, we were able to freeze almost more than $500 million that was supposed to go out, but for our new verification system. So we have that money frozen. So we're doing a lot right now to not only freeze the money, but we're still trying to recoup that COVID era money that we know is still out there that hasn't been spent. And for the ones that have been spent, we continue to work with the task force, with the Inspector General and with the Department of Justice to go after those criminal rings and bring them to justice and get some of that money back.
As you see it right now, when do you think the first type of criminal indictments or the criminal the charges would come? Is that this summer? Is it fall? Is it next year? As you just look at the over, give me the large arc here. When do you see that starting to land?
Well, that's a big part of our task force is our actually being on the ground and seeing exactly what the states are doing. Our Inspector General also has sent agents throughout the country, and we're working very closely with the Department of Justice and the newly launched task force. And, they have an entire division for fraud now at the Department of Justice. So these investigations are going to pay off, and I will be the first one to come back here announcing some pretty large-scale criminal indictments that will be going out because, we have a very good sense of where the bad actors are.
This audience will want to keep up. I mean, this is a breath of fresh air. So where do they follow this? What's the social media or the website if people want to immerse themselves in this and maybe even add any support? Where do they go, Mr. Secretary?
So I'm Sonderling47 on X. Our Inspector General is Labor IG on X, and also the White House Task Force for Fraud. That the new account they've created on X is constantly now posting wins, not just at the Department of Labor, but for USDA with SNAP fraud, with CMS with Medicare fraud. So we are really doing everything we can to get the message out, to show the taxpayers that President Trump is delivering, putting money back in their pockets, and more importantly, eventually putting people in jail to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And you have my commitment it won't happen again, because we are using now advanced technologies to make sure that there is ID verification, which is always a hot topic on the show. We believe in that across the board, including when you're applying for any government benefit. So a lot of technological processes will be happening there, including a new website, unemployment.gov, which we hope is going to be the centralized source. So to get unemployment in the states, because it's run by states, we eventually want everyone to come to us first. And the federal government, using identity.gov, will be the first layer of actually doing those background checks before you even go to the states. So that's a very big long-term initiative of ours, because we can't trust the states in this area anymore, obviously with $135 billion gone. So we need to take control of it in the Trump administration.
Mr. Secretary, we got 30 seconds. One more time, your personal Twitter feed, where do people go?
Sonderling47 is where you can find all the updates on not only the task force, but more importantly, everything we're doing for the American worker. President Trump is committed to making sure American workers get the best jobs and get them first, with the historic amount of investments that he is bringing back to this country, bringing back manufacturing, bringing back all these trades that have been gone. We're skilling the American worker first.
Mr. Secretary, thank you for taking time away on a busy day to join us here in the world. Appreciate you. We'll push this out. Short commercial break. Back in a moment.
We rejoice when there's no more Beth. She eats all the food she loves and stays slim. Kim starves herself.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play. At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
I'm Andy M., and I love Real America's Voice, where my voice counts and your voice counts. That is America's Voice.
This is Giselle Chapin. I'm from North Carolina. I'd like to let you know that RAV News is the best news. Number one news. Truth seekers seek to find the truth. It'll set you free.
Hello, all you Ravagers. I'm Billy Howell, your old buddy Carefree Largo from the chat, and I'm thrilled to be part of the Rav family. When I want to be heard, I use my Real America's Voice.
I think there's overall. I think there's $5 trillion of $1 trillion. I think the $900 billion was just on unemployment, and so make sure you go support Secretary of Labor Sunderling as they get to the bottom of this. Obviously, the criminal indictments have to come early. I do also think that there are many people inside the government that were part of this, but state governments and obviously state governments and federal government. $135 billion just didn't walk out the door with a lot of bad actors, and there are a lot of bad actors out there because they know nobody checks. This is a major effort of President Trump. We're going to get more aspects of the task force over at agriculture with the food stamps, all of it, because it was everywhere. And this money needs to be recouped, and people need to be held accountable. Fill up the jails if you have to on this $135 billion ripoff. Mike Lindell, you're running for governor. What are you going to do about this in Minnesota? Minnesota was not listed in the New York, Illinois, California, the huge problems, but we know it's a big problem because we know we got the Somalian fraud and much, much more in Minnesota. What are you going to do about it as governor?
Yeah, you know, Steve, I think we were the genesis of all this. I believe being Minnesota nice and letting the Muslims coming in practicing their Islam, and with the we got to ban Sharia law. But one of the things I look at, everybody, this fraud is such a blessing. I mean, as I'm getting my budget, I'm already working on the budget for becoming when I become governor of Minnesota. And you look at all these programs, even if you take out the fraud, so many of them are bad programs. They were set up not only for fraud, but they're also set up to where you don't get a good return on your investment. They don't help the people they're supposed to help in a lot of cases. And so I'm working. We have 24 major welfare programs in Minnesota, and I'm looking at each one of them. Like, what if this was your only program? You had to make this work. But we've got, we hope in Minnesota, we're looking forward to all these guys going to prison, which, I mean, we have the worst leadership with Keith Ellison. I believe he's in there on it. Elon Omar, Waltz, the mayor of Minneapolis, they're either completely complicit in it, or in on it.
Well, hold on, but
Steve, as you know, my opponent.
Hang on. Just don't pick on the Democrats. Your opponent, she looked the other way, didn't she? The establishment Republican Party is controlled opposition up there.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we got Lisa Demuth running in Minnesota. We have our big convention this weekend, and she was there for, I don't know how many years now, and going, you knew about this. Yell a little louder. You got to yell. You got to holler this out from the rooftops. You just can't sit back and go, well, I tried, but the Democrats blocked me. I tried, but the Democrats blocked me. Well, you didn't try hard enough. And you certainly didn't yell so the people could hear Minnesota. One of the things, Steve, I'm going to have a very big mouth, a very big, good communication with the people of Minnesota to get the word out. If we have any blockers or any deviations that you see some money missing, you don't wait a year or 2 years to finally look into it. You look into it that day and you stop it in its tracks. And but you got, another thing too, when you talk about opponents.
Lindo, hang on. Is Minnesota ready for a hard-nosed business guy, a guy that built $1 billion business out of the trunk of a car at these flea markets? Are they ready for an entrepreneur? I know people say we're ready, but what you will deliver, they're not looking for, because you're going to shake things up, right? Why in Minnesota you got a nice life, look the other way, so they're ripping you off in your taxes, so your cities are being destroyed, so your education system is being destroyed. It's not going to affect your day-to-day life. You can look the other way and get by. Why would they want to elect somebody that's a disruptor, sir?
Because they know it's critical timing, Steve. We right now, there's 40. I think it was last year. We had a 48,000 deficit in people leaving Minnesota versus people coming to Minnesota, it's everybody. I've talked to people over Minnesota, and even people in the inner city, going, "Hey, if we can leave, we're leaving. If we don't win, if you don't win, Mike, if you don't win, if we don't get this change now, it's over. We have the highest corporate income tax in the nation, highest income tax, corporate tax, third in regulation. These things all need to be changed with this budget. I'm getting this thing ready so if people will hear the solutions to all of these problems, because it's statewide and they've had it. That's why I said this fraud is a gateway. It's an absolute blessing. It's a gateway to the truth, what we've had to live with in Minnesota, and also we're the Trojan horse for Sharia law too. We've got to get rid of Sharia law.
Are these guys up there? They realize that it's so cushy at My Pillow that you have departments that are overstaffed, that you guys spend money on overhead. You just like burn dollars out front. Do they have any idea of how you run the company and how you would run the government?
Yeah, a lot of them think, "Oh, My Pillow did it go? Is it bankrupt?" No, we withstood the biggest attacks probably in history by any company, and we were able to guide through and solve each individual department problem and problems when we were canceled. We were able to guide through that and get through those. And it was by the grace of God, but also by great teams that I put together and great leadership. And that's what Minnesota needs. You need to rebuild it from the ground up. This is horrific what's going on in our state.
Okay, pivot and talk to me. We got through Memorial Day. People love your effort for governor. Everybody supports you. They love you, but they want to talk deals, dude. What do you got for the audience today? Talk to us about a deal.
Okay, all right, everybody. We're gonna give it one more day. Today's the last day where three deals collide. It happens about twice a year. The first one's that mega sale, the second annual mega sale. These are our 4 flagship products. You all dived into this because we just got 7 new towel colors in and 4 new sheet colors. And this is the Giza Dream Sheets. The towels that work are 6-piece towel sets, $34.98. And then our My Pillows, $14.98 for the standard, and then of course our mattress toppers as low as $99.98. Now that we're going to run the Memorial Day mattress sale through today, you guys, the lowest price of our Made in the USA mattresses, you save 50%. And remember, you're getting free shipping on your entire order, including these big ticket items. They come right to your front door, and I'll tell you, they're easy to set up. Get the best mattresses you will ever sleep on. And then also we then go to mypillow.com/war room, and you're going to see the third sale. That's our factory outlet sale that we have the products we're closing out 80% off, free shipping, promo code war room. Call 800-873-1062, 800-873-1062. My operator's standing by for that promo code war room.
Let's take the calls. Most powerful promo code around. See you this afternoon. Okay, go to Patriot Mobile, go to Paxton, go to Raheem, go to Pressler all day.
Half protection is not enough.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and